Sergeant.
Sergeant. J'espère que ça ne gêne pas trop.
Oh non, zut, il faut tout recommencer.
Oh non, il faut recommencer l'album.
C'est parti.
Hello. Wow. This running gag is not getting old.
Not at all. Not at all. It's great.
We feel super comfortable starting those videos.
Okay, so today we're gonna be talking about next song from the Amensal Rise, the fourth song on the album called Magnets.
Yes.
Which is also the first single.
Yep.
Single. The last song we talked about was Spore, which was our long format rock prog opera kind of thing. And this one is
a metal song.
the metal.
And it's also a very angry sounding song.
Yeah.
Probably the second heaviest, second most violent on the album.
After the Amensal Fall, yeah.
Yeah, difficult for us to play. And it's very dense and it's very intense. Structurally and conceptually, it's one of the most straightforward songs on the album. It's basically just a riff fest in many ways. And I think it's during the mixing stage and pretty quickly it was the first song that really came along how we wanted it to be.
That's true. That made us feel like, okay, this works.
This is a foundation for the song we want to pursue for the rest of the album. Since I've started writing music, I've never deleted a song. I've never scrapped a song.
Okay.
I always managed to make it work eventually the way I wanted to by working on it again and again. And for Magnets, this was the first and only time I've completely deleted the guitar profile because it was actually the first iteration of this song was the first song I had composed for the album.
Okay. No, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. And I was pretty happy with it at the time. It was right after Arteries came out, I think. Mm-hmm. And it stayed in my computer for a couple of years, and then I came back to it. I tried working on it and make it sound a bit more up to my then standards, and I couldn't figure it out, so I just completely scrapped it and just kept maybe a couple of riffs from that and started it again. And from this point on, it came around pretty quickly.
Yeah, so the start of the song sounds like this.
Pretty straightforward intro with a very simple melodic progression that keeps repeating.
The other part that I find really cool here is the bass, because the guitars play long sustained chords, but bass actually adds a lot of movement here, and bass plays this. Now just following guitars, and then on the second turn around. Etc. etc. So like that, just movement underneath it. We'll listen to the whole thing together when that starts happening.
It's mimicked by the drums as well, which gives it a bit of groove. That's very nice. Yeah.
It's a really cool thing. We have a little clean guitar that comes in. Beautiful, huge guitars, yeah.
An interesting thing to point out for this song, it's tuned down to G on the guitars, which is a tuning we sometimes experiment with, but not all the time. And tuning down to G for us is always tricky because, to me at least, that's it starts to be too low for the bass to be an octave below the guitars.
Yeah.
So when we're playing in A, which is most of the time, there's absolutely no problem with the bass mimicking what's played with the guitar but an octave lower.
Yep.
And when we go down to G, it becomes kind of a conscious decision with every riff whether we want to have it doubled on the same octave as the guitar or lower, because when you go that low, you lose a bit of attack, a bit of fundamentals of definition.
It's much harder to play quickly.
It's much harder to play quickly and have
Yeah.
it defined. So
Absolutely.
it was something we had to keep in mind throughout the entire song, where to have this bass located.
Yep, for sure.
And then we have those fry vocals coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the first time during the composition process where I was actively decided to have my fry vocals so up front. Because this was, I actually started doing those kind of vocals very recently, 3 years ago maybe. So I didn't have a lot of experience doing them, which I think is also why we have them doubled here, like stereo. They have they're like recorded twice and put in left right, because
Sure.
I think they weren't strong enough for me to have one good take on the center. There's always this weird thing when I'm listening to myself doing this kind of vocals. I feel exhausted listening to this.
Listening to it, yeah.
But when I'm doing it, it just takes no effort whatsoever.
No, not really. Like when you finish those, unless you have to do a lot of movement in
Yeah.
it and like really think about what you're
Yeah.
doing. But if it's just frying through it,
Yeah.
you usually end up okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like I could have gone for another 40 seconds.
So yeah, very fast. Well, not that fast, but faster than what we used to do, because we don't actually do those fast-picked riffs that often. Actually, when I think
No.
about it, there's like 3 or 4 on the album, but mostly the intensity usually comes from the drums, not from the guitars, in terms of speed and
Speed of playing, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I think it feels very good to have this kind of riff every once in a while. Very, very punchy, very simple as well. There's this proggy section where guitars, bass, and drums are kind of getting crazy and playing something that doesn't repeat itself and is pretty fast-paced.
This is one of the hardest riffs to play for me at this moment.
Yeah, live.
On the whole life.
Yeah. It's a very challenging one for all of us, I think.
Yeah.
It was hard to record as well for
Yeah.
all of us.
On va bien se marrer là. C'est difficile. Ouais. Ah. Ok, ça va aller.
Yes. Il t'aide ce clic? Ce clic il t'aide?
Ah mais oui, mais c'est parce qu'il est... C'est moi le con. Hop. Parce que j'ai pas le bon clic du tout en fait. Ça va tellement vite ces trucs. Ouais. Ok, la partie compliquée du riff maintenant.
Ce qui peut peut-être t'aider, c'est de passer ce 5 en 0 au-dessus.
Ouais, c'est bien ça. Nice.
Et juste pour voir, si tu joues ce 4-7 en slide avec ton ring finger.
Like if you just listen to the bass and guitars here. And after this really hard riff, kind of the first real verse or whatever of the song.
That's definitely a verse.
Disco time.
Yeah, disco time. Yeah, this was this the one of the songs where you had fun
Yes.
naming the sections.
Yeah, I did.
That's pretty cool.
In the beginning, I tried to do something that makes sense. Intro, part 2, lift, whatever. Bourrin means aggressive, and then puissance, power, disco time, and then I went into some, I don't know, crossing the sticks. Then we're talking about Cerber. He's got 3 heads, and this fight with the Cerber. He's got my balls, something, purr, whatever.
Yeah,
We'll see.
it's you created an entire lore.
I did.
around the song. Yeah.
So we do have a section purr that's followed by munch. Which when we'll get there, you understand why.
Yeah.
So disco time. Yeah, the first verse with Anthony on vocals.
Yeah, that's very much a lead part for Anthony.
Yep, the
One
big
of
one.
his shining moments
Yes.
on the album.
Mm-hmm.
Scanning my every weakness, locking eyes with my future.
If we open a bit the vocal tracking session here, because we haven't really talked much about Anthony yet, we have this thing.
Scanning my
As you can see, it's actually it's mostly just one take. No doubles, not many doubles at least. The doubles are here, oops, and there's a little bit of them here, but basically these 2 tracks are the main vocal,
lead take,
the lead
yeah.
take. Classic pre-delay effect
Yeah.
on him, which is something that we use all the time, which is just his note reverbed, reversed, and
Yeah.
then put back in.
Yeah.
It may be surprising to some people how little bass there is, how little like low end there is to a track like this, especially because in the song it sounds really huge. And again, it's because we have such a dense bass heavy arrangement already.
Yeah.
So for the for a growly vocal like this to sound huge, it needs to have that filler there and have all of the grit of the aggression in it, not necessarily the big low end.
Yeah, it sounds very it sounds very impressive. The road takes themselves Anthony's performance is already so good without the mixing treatment.
I think so too. Like he has this rawness to his growls that I really like, which makes sessions a bit interesting because to get the right type of movement and the right take, he really needs to be in the right state of mind.
Yeah, and he experiments a lot.
Very,
as well.
yeah, it's very felt for him. It's not like he doesn't just turn on the growl and then sounds like everything sounds the same. He really thinks deeply into where to put which inflection, which part of his vocal to go with. So yeah.
And that's still an ongoing process for us as a band, because what we usually do and what has been done on this album is that I sent Anthony suggestion of how he should phrase the growls, where to put the syllables, how to put them like in higher or lower register.
Yep. So not only the arrangement of the vocal, like where which syllable goes rhythmically, but also tonally how we would like it
Yeah.
to be.
Like, should this be like a very high pitched big squeal or very low guttural voice, or this is something that we discuss, but eventually it all comes down to how he feels it, because not only is it important for him to be able to feel the performance and the part that he's singing, he also asks what the songs are about.
Absolutely.
Because he wants to know what he's singing, but also his suggestions are very, very creative and very good, and he knows his voice pretty well, and he usually is the one who comes up with this support double takes or the harmonies. He goes like, oh, we can add this here or this here, and so it's a very creative a moment to record vocals with him in general.
I agree.
And in a typical Anthony fashion, I remember coming out of those sessions with him being disappointed with his performance.
Very often.
And then
yeah.
I hear this shit and I'm like, what the fuck? This is just so good.
Yeah, that's our big groovy riff. Maybe just a little bit of guitar by itself here, which is really fun.
Le riff groovy. Cheat code.
Des fois où je te déteste un peu. Ça change rien au truc et c'est... Ah non, ça change. Moi, j'arrive pas à sortir ici. Je suis trop là. Super important d'avoir un bon accordage pour faire ça.
Oui, parce que ce serait bête que ce soit pas dissonant par erreur, quoi.
Ah ouais, c'est ça.
Que tu fasses un power chord du coup.
Ah ouais, ça va, bon dommage. Yeah, really fun.
Open the gates, paint us all gray. Open the gates, help us tonight.
And just for the funny anecdotes, the open the gates, paint us all gray. So I named the part Bill and Dorian because Bill Gates and Dorian Gray.
Wow. That's some Easter egg. That's a pretty cool Easter egg, yeah.
We keep with this just every time a bit differently. This is one of my favorite parts to play. Well, that's really nice, and we have some really cool effects here, really cool guitars. And that's Ebo, right?
That's the Ebo we were mentioning earlier.
That's
Absolutely,
the Ebo, yeah. To make these to make it sound like a violin almost, yeah. Some vocals.
Control is a souvenir. Kindness, debris of the man I used to be.
I love this bend into the new key.
And that's the vocals really help make that transition make sense. Because otherwise the tonal shift between those two sections might be a bit weird, but this chromatic ramp up links those sections together. Very difficult to do. Yeah, going into fry register and back down very quickly on the chest voice. Yeah, every time we play this live, I'm like crossing my fingers when we reach this moment that my voice doesn't crack or that just yeah.
Classic. But it's when it's done right, it really works.
Because it's counterintuitive when you listen to that, but you actually have to put in a lot more power on the third note, which is the chest note, which is the lower one, than on the first two notes, because you need to hold back a bit for those one. So it's very counterintuitive, especially when you're in the flow of the live performance.
Yeah. And we have this whole section of Fly Baby, because it's lifted section. I think there's some very cool stuff happening here on the SFX, on the synths and stuff.
Sounds pretty good.
Into the drums here, like Pablo did something really cool here. He flips around 3 times to always bring something interesting. On, off, on.
Yeah.
So cool. So yeah, and then we move into a long kind of bridge. This is usually when people think we finished the song live. And this was quite fun. So the idea here was to have quite a produced thing already.
Yeah.
With the moment we were recording, we were trying to build this vibe, all this kind of question answer thing, and we tried a bunch of different things, into different takes in terms of intention and voice choice and all that, and decided to go for minimalist. So I have all of these different takes that are already processed, that are already mixed. Like this, for example, this is the normalize.
Normalize.
And ups, and then we have an answer to it. And then, I mean, a interlude and then an answer.
Make the trouble your own.
So there's like 2 takes with a bit of
Yeah.
with a bit of like vibrato to it, a bit of wobble.
I think it was very deliberate from us to have those 3 kind of vocal sources, very different in terms of space, in terms of texture, in terms of what they
How close they
say,
are to
how
you.
close they are in terms of dimensions, yeah. And to have 3 very different approaches for all of them.
Yep. And I think we sent to Julian to mix. We just sent the whole thing finished like this, and just 1 track.
Yeah.
Because it was great. But the real star of the show.
Patronize.
You wanna tell us about it?
So I just heard it that way. I just heard that voice for this particular section, and I recorded it in the demo before the recording sessions. And then came the moment of recording the vocals for this section, and we pulled up the demo, which had this. And I was just like, let's use this. This is
perfect.
This is exactly what I want, so I'm not going to do any better than that. So this is the take the first take I did in my room.
3 a.m.
At 3 a.m.
Yeah.
On a
funny.
crappy microphone, and we just used that.
It totally works.
It's I think the fact that I was not overthinking it at all. I had
that
no
was
ambition
important.
for it
Yeah.
when recording it makes it work. Something I think is interesting for this particular section. I think it's one of the only moments in the album where I just had written nothing because I wanted us to experiment in the studio with finding the right sounds and right atmosphere and everything. And I think writing actual notes or guidelines or anything would make it too restrictive.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was all like sound design layers that we came up with Pablo, and percussions that were just very like improvised and what we had under at our disposal.
It's all on like a pedal note. Kind of cool thing. There's this. The main ambience, sort of wind, but with a lot of like some voices in it, some stuff.
Pablo playing the flute himself.
This is Pablo playing the flute. Ooh, nice. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. On a little marimba or something. This pad. It's kind of an evolving pad. Classic drones.
And then we have all those guitar layers.
Dans stéréo qui sont différentes. Il faudrait avoir des sons un peu différents mais pas trop. Commençons à gauche. Je sais pas si je suis fan pour ce son là. Est-ce que ce serait pas mieux de faire Music Man? Tu voulais faire quoi? D'un côté le Rala 11 de toute façon. Pourquoi? Parce que tu as besoin du 7? Parce que j'ai besoin de la 700G. Et l'autre, bon, tu veux garder la Horizon peut-être? Ouais, elles font deux trucs différents complètement. Non, juste assez différents pour être un peu complémentaires. Mais... Fuji. Est-ce qu'on rajouterait pas un très petit delay là-dessus? Un quoi? Un tout petit delay. Un petit delay? Ouais. Sur ce rythme-là ou... En pointé plutôt.
So this is the acoustic guitar we recorded here. I'm really happy with how this sounds. Nice.
Sounds pretty good, and it
Yeah,
adds a lot of
sounds
attack to those clean guitars as
Absolutely, and a lot of like a metallic texture that electric guitar just doesn't have because you don't have the mic on the strings.
well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the one that was playing just the downbeat. That's why you have that big note that
Yeah.
resonates throughout the whole part.
I think it's a very cool guitar effects part here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I really, yeah.
What is this?
So I actually used the whammy pedal to
Okay.
pitch shift so that those two notes are open notes,
Okay.
and I played them palm muting with random rhythm by pulling and pushing the tremolo bar.
Okay.
So I was like playing palm mutes on those open notes and then playing with the tremolo bar and playing.
And whammy.
No, the whammy
Yeah.
was just so that the open notes, the open strings were
Oh,
the
that
right
they
notes.
would be the right notes.
Yeah. So I could play with the tremolo bar at the same time. It was very fun, yeah.
There's a bunch of things happening with this scratching with the cymbals. Just add that energy to it.
Yeah.
Remember what we said? This comes all back all the time.
It was so smart.
This was
Doing
really
very standard music, musical things. Yeah, that's the theme of the song. You remember?
yeah, and this whole thing resolves in one of the biggest riffs of the song.
special to talk about here, except maybe two things. The question and answer bit with Anthony's growls, which was decided during the recording because the phrasing was just too hectic for him to perform in one go. It also felt much better to have those voices come from the side.
Let's see.
Knives, martyrs, praise, dying to fight for the right to be left alive.
These parts are not super tight.
Yeah.
With between the lead on top and the double on the bottom.
Yeah.
They're actually a little bit sloppy on purpose so that they feel kind of slimy, and then you have this super tight, and same at the end. So next part is the big riff, the big headbanging riff that comes from it. It's pretty much the same riff.
Yeah.
Just the drums change to a steady rhythm. The percussions are here pretty cool. You can even hear here, we did like only Pablo, only Roman together. Ten, bam, something like that. So. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
Just to, again, with every layer, try to add a bit of movement. Try to not be stale.
It's also a way for us not to get bored during recording sessions. That's the main takeaway from this.
Because they're fucking long. So this is the big thing. And then we find, for the second time, the sort of end of part gimmick
transition
of this of Magnus, which is the
much harder than the other one because of this time signature, because of how we get into this as guitar players.
Oh yeah,
there's this very difficult lick, and Pablo is playing something a bit different as well. We get lost here playing it live all the time. This is terrible to play.
It's hard. It's hard. This sounds hard as easy. This is just going up, but this. I don't play that live. So this, and we go into purr, which is sort of a well, it's not a break really. It's a psychedelic moment of just a bit of introspection, a bit of breath before we go back to it, and that's why it's a purr munch. Yeah. Let's talk about this.
So that's the big Alan Holdsworth.
That is the
moment.
big part, yes.
And also very much Fredrik Vondendal, which is pretty much same thing because he's a Holdsworth worshipper for good reasons. And this is very much inspired by the early Meshuggah albums, where he used to play those very dissonant atonal chords, like think sub-levels or Create Placidity or songs like that. And this was a bitch to record. Very difficult because those chords are very difficult to play because they're timed in a very weird way as well.
Bah merde alors, ah oui, comment on va faire hein? Pourquoi on joue du prog?
Ça manque de mettre pas
Parce
comptable.
qu'on joue pas du mat metal hein?
C'est ça.
Non. Ah non. Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
Ah oui.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? C'est possiblement dans le top 3 des accords les plus moches que j'ai entendu de toute ma vie.
que tu peux... Enfin, vas-y, je joue encore un peu avec.
Plus fou.
Hein?
Plus fou.
Un peu plus fou, je pense. Ouais. Ah, t'es cool celle-là.
C'est rigolo, hein.
And then this huge mammoth riff.
Munch munch.
Yeah, probably one of my favorite riffs
Oh, yeah?
on the album. Oh yeah. Which was initially just a way for me to transition from that previous break towards the
Yeah, because that didn't match, yeah.
They didn't match, and I had this. So this is the same, pretty much the same kick pattern but displaced. And then I just wrote a guitar part on top, and I felt this was so fucking nasty as a riff.
Même avec celle-là. Et mettre Caprio dans Wolf of Wall Street. Ah ouais. Celui que j'imaginais bien, c'était le Vibe 4. Le Vibe 4, t'as déjà vu? Le chat blanc qui fait comme ça.
So, the big riff, cool, and then we go to Yay the Bones.
Yay, the bones.
So Cerber has killed whoever was and eaten whoever was annoying him, and now we get the bones. Just sort of a transition.
Yeah, same pre-chorus as the first one, but with growls instead of the clean vocals. But exactly same idea. I think the drums are maybe just a bit more hectic than they were before. But
Yeah, maybe a bit of those effect guitars. We have this ebow,
yeah,
as we mentioned before, and some clean, just.
because those Holdsworth chords, they didn't stop actually.
No, they were
kept
going
playing,
still
yeah.
in the previous part.
And also on this particular section, we did some kind of noodling with sound designing the growls. Initially, we had a very straightforward performance from Anthony, and then we decided it was a bit boring and not powerful enough, and so we decided to overlap 2 takes of him, like saying the first word of each sentence and then having the next words underneath. And I did some delays and effects to make it sound more atmospheric in general.
So in the recording session, it sounds like this. So first of all, there's this.
Suddenly my turn in my night, dancing and twirling without dream.
Without aim, I'm half the man I could be. Blame the virus inside of me.
Oh, that was fun. I forgot that.
Virus.
Wow.
Wow. I remember that was.
Virus inside of me.
Interesting enough, there's very little layering here in terms of vocals, and I remember this being a very specifically a decision then, because you have all of this shit, pads, a full orchestra, some bells, keys, guitars all over the place, and blah 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 blah. So there was not much space, first of all.
Yeah.
And as previously we said, the more you put on it, the less you hear the main take and the main emotion. So here I love that take. I mean, I love that the combo we ended up with. So just then it was just how to sprinkle something on top without taking anything away.
Yeah.
Altering my senses.
the remedy.
En fait, moi, ce que j'ai senti là, c'est que les premières trois phrases, à fondant, après puis ça commence à réfléchir un peu.
Bah, c'est qu'en fait, il y a un, pour moi, après le altering my senses,
Ouais.
ce qui vient après, ça doit être plus doux.
Je pense que ça peut être un tout petit peu plus externalisé comme
sentiment.
parce que là, pour l'instant, j'ai l'impression que tu reviens à l'intérieur.
Pas assez.
Mais soit c'est pas assez dans ce sens-là, soit c'est pas assez dans l'autre sens.
Without aim, I'm half the man I could be. Blame the virus inside of me. Breaking my defenses. Altering my senses. Fame will not be the remedy. Blame the virus inside of me.
And then we move into the last third of the song.
Yeah.
Second kind of a drop in intensity, complete drop in intensity. And then there's a part on bass that we pick up with that's comes out of nowhere. It's pretty hard. It doesn't sound very hard and starts the whole next part, and then I fuck up very often live.
You don't fuck up that often.
Not anymore, because now in my ears I have Roma saying, "Hey Andre, we're all counting on you, buddy. Here we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1." It takes all of the pressure away. It's great. This is what it sounds like altogether. In the part that we just heard in this little break that I called appropriately "What Was That?" This is my favorite part, obviously. That one's fun.
Deep.
That one is really fun. Yeah. And the bass part I was talking about is this.
Smooth.
Such good
Very
transition. What is this? Just a mirror of what the bass is playing.
If I remember correctly, we actually bought an accordion plugin just for this with Pablo. We were just going through the thousands of plugins that we already have at our disposal, and nothing sounded good, and we were just like, we need to find something better than this, and then we decided to buy one, and it was this.
this accordion. Well, two different accordions.
Yeah.
Again, the trick of going up and down at the same time. Yeah. And that kind of, I mean, that works with the bass. So we have this big part here. Maybe we'll just listen to the whole thing. I don't think there's anything super particular.
No, just the transition.
Transition is cool, yeah, with the vocals, right?
Oh yeah, and the weird time signature that sounds weird on paper.
The 13/16 here.
Yeah, but it sounded so natural to me to transition that way. It's so fluid, and I think I'm maybe the only one thinking that, but this transition works so well in my head. I think initially it was in 12/16. It was da 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 dun 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 dun, but I wanted that last note to stretch a bit more. Da 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 dun 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 boom.
Exactly.
Yeah. kind of a mirror version of the first tremolo riff that we had.
Which was the very first fast riff.
Yeah.
So here is the version where you're already tired and you don't know what to do next. Yeah, that was fun. That was a good one. And those vocals are pretty badass.
Yeah.
That's a good that's a good layering.
That's
I was very
cool,
happy with these.
Pretty cool moments, yeah. This is a very hard moment for Pablo to play live as well.
Oh man.
This is very intense. It's at the end of the song and
Just listen to this.
and here comes the most terrifying section of the song for everyone, I think.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah, maybe not for you.
Oh, this one, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have those. The first part of this section is in ever-changing time signatures.
Yeah. As you can see, 3 4 9 8 4 4 3 4 5 4 4 4 9 8 4 4.
And there's on guitars this huge string skipping riff, playing from the first to the sixth one. With the super demanding vocals on top that don't synchronize whatsoever with that. And Pablo following those crazy time signatures as well. Sort of with the kick pattern,
yeah.
And then if you're too focused on his snare, you completely
lose it because he keeps on misplacing it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And then on the second half, you have this seemingly very simple heavy riff that actually took hours to record with Julien.
Yeah.
Because of the weird placement of the notes, and that also took hours in the rehearsal space because it was so difficult to get it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stupidly difficult to play even though it sounds very simple.
Elle est pas super droite, hein.
Quoi?
Après cette partie-là dans la gratte est pas super droite non plus.
Mais est-ce que je suis les guitares ou je suis ce qu'il y a sur la table? Ça c'est la question.
Moi je dirais je suis les grattes.
Je suis les grattes?
Ouais,
Ok.
les grattes fonctionnent. Donc
Ok. Pas de soucis. Bah alors faudra me les mettre un tout petit peu plus fort.
And then we go to the outro. Just the very last riff.
Pretty hectic drumming.
Oh man, Anthony here.
And Anthony as well.
I remember this being done on purpose, like.
Show us the way. Paint hand!
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This is fun stuff.
Oh, very important. Right before that last riff, there's a triangle solo. Yes!
Really?
You can hear it, yeah? That's the triangle solo. Caprio is a very skilled triangle player.
He is. So yeah, just hear full on. Yeah,
Strapping young lad. Outro.
very much. Yeah, kind of a unexpected end there.
Yeah,
Uh,
very much influenced by Rotted Futures by Imperial Triumphant.
Okay, with those extra two beats there. Yeah.
And that kind of dissonant chord, orchestral chord at the end. Kind of.
Yeah, which is this. And we move right into this little bit of fun. Alright. And then it seamlessly moved into the Amensal Rise, which will be the next episode on this journey of ridiculous sounds. Thank you so much for being with us here.
Yeah, don't forget you can buy the tabs and stems on our Bandcamp page if you're interested.
Yes, and
Thanks for watching.
cheers.